It looks like there's nothing to eat in my fridge and that I have to go grocery shopping like ASAP. I'm just showing you what I got, and there's some veggies in that drawer, just mushrooms and celery, and then I've got lots of coconut flour and almond flour, tons of coconut flour for some reason. I wanted to share with you what I'm gonna make because I'm completely fine for a couple more days here. I'm gonna take these oranges that I have left over from doing a gallbladder flush. I'm going to grate the rind and I'm gonna stick it in my Mescal. That way I can get the nutrients from the rind into the Mescal. And then I like the orange flavor mixed with Mescal, so that will be yummy. And then I'm gonna take the juice inside the orange and I'm going to kefirize that. So I make kefir water, but I can also use those same grains to make a juice. So I'm going to juice those babies and then I'm gonna make kefir water with it, or kefir juice, and it's gonna remove the sugar from the orange juice, but it's gonna leave behind a orange tart taste that's just slightly sweet, but without all of the excess sugar. Up here I've got some seeds, so I'm gonna take that and some dried coconut, desiccated coconut, and I'm going to make a seed cereal. And then I'm gonna make some parfaits, breakfast parfaits using blueberries, and I'm gonna make some coconut yogurt because I have a canned coconut, and I'm gonna put a little bit of applesauce in and use this chia gel. And then I am going to make a celery mushroom soup. So that's gonna be super yummy. I'm also going to make a Jello with kefir water and some berries. I'll probably also throw some of the rind from the orange into the Jello using gelatin, and I'll sweeten it with erythritol or stevia, so there'll be no sugar added to the gelatin. I'm going to take the eggs, make some deviled eggs. I'm going to take this yogurt here and I'm going to put it through a nut milk bag and then drain off the whey, which I'm going to store to the side to make fermented vegetables. But I'm gonna take the cream cheese that's left over and add garlic and some spices to that and salt, and then make little balls, and then you put them in a jar and pour olive oil on top, and then you can put that on like whatever you want. You can put it on the side of a dish or put it on like crackers. Here is a broth, a vegetable broth that I made last week. That's gonna be the base of my soup with the celery and the mushrooms. And I'm also gonna take the eggs, and with some of them, I'm going to make a breakfast muffins using protein baking mix that I recently developed that is made with pea protein. So it will be dairy-free, and we're gonna put, instead of having cheese in the breakfast muffins, we're going to have nutritional yeast. And basically, I think have I got everything? I'll have to make mayo again because I don't think, I was gonna make deviled eggs, so I'm gonna need some more mayo. This is some homemade mayo that I already made. But I also can make miso soup. I can take this little bit of leftover tofu that I have, put it into slices, like small slices, and add some green onion or chives, which I have growing on my deck. And yeah, I think that's what I will be making with what I've got left in here. I made some chips out of pepperoni by dehydrating them, but I'm kind of scared to eat them because I did the test in my dehydrator with conventional meat and I feel gross about it. So I don't eat it, but it had the right texture. All right, there you have it. I have quote unquote nothing in my fridge and it looks like I need to go grocery shopping, but I have come up with, I don't know, a lot of ideas. All right, we're all done. Here is the cleaned up fridge, and it is actually filled with food now, even though it looked like I had nothing. But I've just moved everything over here. There's not very much left up here because I actually put most of the seeds into a seed cereal. It looks quite dark because I added cocoa to it, but it's mostly pumpkin seeds, and I'm gonna add some hemp because I didn't want to roast that, and there's coconut, lots of coconut, desiccated coconut in it, And then I put spices and erythritol, so it was sweet without sugar. And then under here I have the breakfast muffins made with a pea protein baking mix that I developed that I haven't brought to market yet, but I've been working with. And then I've got deviled eggs and breakfast parfaits. I decided to use silken tofu instead of making coconut yogurt. And then I made some hemp milk. And then I mentioned that I was gonna strain the whey. So I'm straining it in this large container. This is a nut milk bag. The yogurt is in there. The whey is now at the bottom. Hard to kind of see, but it's draining. I like to drain it in the fridge so that I can do it for a couple of days so that it's left with a nice firm cream cheese, and then you can roll it into balls to make labneh. Here is some chocolate bars. I didn't mention I was gonna make that, so I added that to the equation. And then I made soup and some Jello, which I like to use these old-fashioned from the 70s thingies here. So you can see there's berries in it, and it's made with kefir water, so it's basically a probiotic Jello. And I sprinkled a little bit of erythritol on top to add a little bit more sweetener. There you have it. My empty fridge has now been filled with quite a bit of food. So pretty much have breakfast and lunch foods for the whole week. And all I have to think about going grocery shopping for is some more dinner foods.